Oh no, the internet found all the hate that it could muster and it threw it straight at me. And it was a long, I'd say 3-4 weeks before we got our first positive comment of someone going, "Ooh, that's kind of cool." But we had a lot of people questioning the idea at the very beginning, and then all of a sudden one person says, "Hey, wait, this is kind of cool," and it catches. That it's a great feeling to go from pure negative feedback to all of a sudden everybody's very interested.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Total Michigan, where we interview ordinary Michiganders doing some pretty extraordinary things. I'm your host, Cliff Duvenois. So I don't do very many interviews with universities. Back in my day, universities were places where you went to learn and to do research, and that was about it. The focus of this show is more about people who are doing and impacting their communities. But over the last few decades, handful of people have worked really hard to blur the lines between teaching and actually doing, allowing students, even non-students, an opportunity to pursue their dream in the academic environment, gaining real world experience and becoming a contributor to the community that they've been called to serve, not 4 years from now, but today. So with that being said, I'm at the Scott L. Carmona College of Business located in Saginaw, Michigan, and this is part of the Saginaw Valley State University ecosystem. With me today is one of those dreamers pursuing his dream in the world of skateboarding. His name is Ryan Pelletier, founder of Morphite Boards. Ryan, how are you?
Doing well, Cliff. Thanks for having me today.
Excellent. So why don't you tell us, what is Morphite Boards?
Yeah, so Morphite Boards is a company that I started during my time here at SVSU. I'm a fourth-year student. Going into my fifth year here at the school. And Morphite Boards is an idea that I had to create a skateboard that could shrink and fit into your backpack. We started developing that here at the School of Business. We have a innovation lab. We created our first functional prototype back in July of last year, and we're now at the point of getting ready to actually start production. And we're going to be hopefully launching later in the fall, maybe late fall this year.
Now, I know probably half my audience has already got questions in their brain as far as this goes, but let me ask this question right now so we can get it out of here. But this is actually your idea, your concept, your product. It's not like the university owns it because you developed it here. This is all you.
Yeah, so the way that the school does this here at Saginaw Valley is very, very cool. If a student develops a project here at the school and can apply for a patent, which I do have a patent pending now, the patent is 100% the student owned. All of the rights go to the student. I do work with an engineer here at the school. His name is Jim Pawlowski, and he is co-listed on the patent because we invented it together. But other than that, the school has no claim to the rights of the patent, which is very, very cool.
Nice. So let's take a step back here. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I'm from Midland, Michigan, which is only 20 minutes north of Saginaw Valley. I grew up born and raised in Midland, and I worked my way down to Saginaw Valley after high school, and I've been here for the past 3 years. And other than that, I don't know if you want any more background on...
So what are you studying at SVSU?
Yeah, I'm studying International Business Management here at SVSU with a minor in Entrepreneurship.
So the golden question I always ask everybody is, why international business?
So I was doing general business, and I switched over to international business after studying abroad. I spent 1 semester in the Czech Republic in Prague.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
Yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful place, and I can't wait to go back someday and visit all the friends I made there. And after studying abroad, I was informed that it would only be a few more credits to switch over to international business management from general business. So I decided to make the leap and do that.
Now, usually when people think about getting some kind of a business degree, it means that they're going to be sitting in a cubicle or an office, probably working for somebody else. You, on the other hand, decided to scratch your entrepreneurial itch. Now, do you have anybody in your family who's entrepreneurs? Do you have a background? I mean, were you selling lemonade as a kid on the street corner? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so it's funny you should say that because I was a lemonade stand kid when I was younger. I have had this entrepreneurial itch since I was a kid. I actually read a book about Thomas Edison back in 4th grade, and on that day that I read that book, I made the choice. I said, I'm going to be an inventor. I spent the next 8 years getting told that's not a job. And so I was kind of going down the engineering path for a while, and which is great because that's how I got a lot of the skills I needed to develop this project. But it was about, I'd say, junior year of high school. I did the DECA program. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a
Nope.
business competition. You go do pitches, and you're kind of quick thinking on your feet. It's all business oriented. And I fell in love with it, and I realized business was where I wanted to be. Then I connected the dots that Thomas Edison wasn't actually a engineer as much as he was a businessman. He worked for himself, he invented for himself, and I kind of came up with my own little catchphrase for life that I didn't want to be the guy who gets the big paycheck. I wanted to be the guy who signs off on it.
Nice.
And so all of my friends were going into university planning to work for someone else and, get that high up job, climb the ladder. I decided I was just going to build my own ladder.
I love that.
So that's how I got to where I am. I basically, since fourth grade, though, I've been planning on, being an inventor and doing my own thing.
Now, where did the interest in skateboards come from?
Yeah, so it's it's a very funny story looking back at where I got my interest in longboarding. My brother actually took...
So now you said longboarding.
Yes.
So what's the difference between longboarding and skateboarding?
Yeah, that's a good thing to cover. So difference between longboarding and skateboarding. Longboarding is a lot more of the point A to point B transportation. It's a fun way to transport yourself. Skateboarding is more about doing the tricks and riding. Like, you can skateboard from point A to point B. It's just not as efficient. Skateboard wheels are a lot smaller. It's a lot harder to balance on a skateboard. Longboards are more they were invented over in Hawaii to replicate the feeling of surfing, but it's a transportation unit more than it is a item for tricks. And
Gotcha.
yeah, so if that makes sense. It's larger wheels, longer decks, easier to balance, easier to go over cracks on a longboard. So our boards are closer to skateboard length, but they're longboard wheels and longboard trucks, so they're kind of a hybrid. But they, basically longboards.
So now where did your interest in skateboard longboards come from?
Yeah, so my interest for skateboarding and longboarding is a funny story. It actually stretches back to my brother took a trip to Florida, and he showed me all these pictures and videos of him riding around the streets of Florida on these longboards with his friends. And I was like, that's so cool. And so I actually ended up getting I believe it was $20 off of Facebook Marketplace, this beat up old longboard from somebody. They were selling it used. Rode that thing everywhere for the next couple of years. Just fell in love with the sport. Now, fast forward, I believe it's been 7 years I've been riding. I now have a collection of 8 boards. My best board, quote unquote, is a Tantien Flex 2 from Loaded Boards, which it's a $350 board. I ride that thing everywhere. It's one of the best investments I think I've ever made. It's a nice high-end board. I actually rode from Midland to Clare and back on a longboard.
Oh my goodness.
66 miles, which it's a fun way to get exercise and get out and, enjoy the nice weather. So any beautiful day, I'm out riding.
That was going to be my next question, because I've seen some of these longboards with like battery-powered engines attached to them. You got one of those?
Yeah, so we have a lot of requests for Morphite Board to go electric eventually, but I'm committed at the moment for keeping it manual for the time being, because I'm a big fan of manual, non-electric boards, just because I like the exercise component of longboarding, and I like it being human-powered. I always ride manual. I've looked into getting electric, but there's just something that it kind of takes away from the way I ride. A longboard is kind of an extension of yourself, because you're putting the energy into it.
Right.
The second it's electric, you're standing on something. You're not, part of the system, if that makes sense. In short, I don't currently own an electric longboard, but we will be pursuing making electric Morphite boards in the future.
Now, speaking of the Morphite board, where did the idea initially come from?
Yeah, so the idea for Morphite boards came straight out of my need. So I used to ride my board everywhere, wanted to ride it to high school, couldn't fit in my locker. Simple as that. I wanted a board that I could shrink down and fit into my locker. So back in 2018, I actually built the first prototype of a Morphite board. At the time, I didn't have the name. It was a whole different design too. There were a few components that were similar, but I made a mock-up basically, built in my garage at home with what I had available. And then it just sat in a box for a few years until I came to SVSU and I finally got the opportunity to actually take my project to the next level.
So let's talk about that. So you've come to SVSU, you're in the business program, you've got this prototype that's sitting at home into a box. At what point in time did you learn that you could actually take that project forward?
Yeah, so the moment that I realized that this project could actually be something was when I met Mohammed Adel. He runs the Entrepreneurship Institute here at Saginaw Valley. And Mohammed, I met with him about a different business idea I had actually, and we worked on developing that for a little bit. And then he brought me down to the lab and introduced me to Jim, our lab technician, and he said, "Hey, you have any ideas? You can develop them here." And I said, "Hey, wait a minute, I do have this idea. It's sitting in a box at home." And I was like, "Let's see if we can take this somewhere." And there was a lot of doubt at the beginning if the project could work. But like I said, it was about 5 months into development, we had our first working prototype, and that's when things really took off with Morphite, and it became more of a reality then.
So where did you talked about this doubt, right? Talk to us about the doubt. What component was it? Was it doubting that you could actually do this, that you could actually create it, that you could create a business from it?
Yeah, so the doubt was definitely multiple levels for this. So beginning, the doubt was just, can this project work? Can we make a product that actually functions as I dream it will? At the beginning, there was a lot of doubt in the structural integrity of it, and it took us a long time. It took us about a year to actually get it down to a functioning product. But we pushed through that doubt. But then, yeah, the other side of the doubt was the business side of things. Like, can we take this? Will people actually want this? Will there be interest in the product? Or is this something that I want and no one else is really interested in? So those were the two levels of doubt that we worked around. But as we kept pushing forwards, I saw more and more eyes light up as they saw, the prototypes getting more and more advanced, and people started, it was kind of at the beginning, the saying yes and shaking your head no. Like, people are like, yeah, you can do this, but they're shaking their head no, like, no, you can't. But as we progressed through the prototypes and people started seeing the advancements happening, I started seeing more of the, yes, you can do this, and I could see they believed it in their eyes, which is really, really cool progress to make.
So you've got basically, so you got an idea. You've got access to a technician / engineer. You've gone through many prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the year, SVSU presented you with a bill for $100,000.
No. So there was no bill from the school for any of the tools or the engineering expertise that I've had access to. The school has supported the entire project. I have not had to pay for any of the tools or materials that I've used here in the lab, which is very, very helpful. I could not have proved that the idea could work without access to all of this. I ended up getting a $10,000 grant, which is through the Midland Community Area Foundation, but it's through SVSU. So I applied for the grant. It's a business startup grant, and it's given to us in chunks. There's, I believe, 5 chunks, and as you develop different parts of your business, you get the different chunks of the grant. So we got the first segment released when I founded my LLC and got a business insurance that listed the school as a additional insured. And then as we moved on with prototype development, I got another chunk of money, which was, I think it started with $1,500. Second chunk was $5,000, if I remember correctly. And all of that money has, I haven't spent it all yet, which is actually pretty impressive. But we use that money to fund the operation. So I have put in a fair amount of my own money, mostly on the legal side of things with the patent attorney. But the school is, as far as prototype development, the school has supported me financially through that as well. Using the lab is completely free, which is pretty awesome.
So in other words, you get to keep the patent, you get to keep the product that the school has basically funded, the whole innovation piece and getting a 3D working model. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's very amazing. I will say the legal side of things, the patent, I did pay for myself. That is separate from developing the idea. But yeah, the whole development process of the actual physical product and the prototype, that was supported by the school.
That's awesome. For our audience, we're going to take a quick break and thank our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk about the reaction to Morphite Boards and what's coming up next. We'll see you after the break.
At the Carmona College of Business of Saginaw Valley State University, you will gain essential business knowledge through real-world case studies, field-based experiences, and travel opportunities. Our state-of-the-art building features finance, data analytics, consumer behavior, and product innovation labs, providing hands-on training in a data-driven business environment. We offer a prestigious AACSB-accredited MBA program with a range of concentrations which offers flexibility and is one of the most cost-effective in Michigan. We offer multiple undergraduate majors where our students enjoy experiential learning opportunities, including internships, cooperative education, study abroad, and managing a student-managed investment fund. Our centers of excellence offer engagement with local and regional businesses. Our dedicated professors provide personalized mentoring, helping you to maximize your potential and achieve your goals. Discover how a degree in business can be your pathway to success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Total Michigan, where we interview ordinary Michiganders doing some pretty extraordinary things. I'm your host, Cliff Duvenois. Today, we're talking with Ryan Pelletier of Morphite Boards. And Ryan, before the break, we were talking about how basically with the university, you now have an actual working prototype, a collapsible skateboard. You can zip around in the parking lot and see it in action. The question I got for you, and you kind of alluded to this before, the question I got for you is when you started posting this online, your little videos, whatever it is that you guys are putting out there, what was the reaction?
Yeah, so this was a really funny process to watch happen. So the second we got our patent application submitted, my patent attorney told me it was okay to start being public with the idea and start posting videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so for about a year and a half, actually about a year and a month, we had been very quiet about everything. We hadn't shown any pictures. There was nothing on the internet about the idea. But then the day that we got our application submitted, I posted a video just saying, hey, my name's Ryan Pelletier. I'm a student, and this is my business. And the internet threw tomatoes at me, rotten tomatoes from all directions.
What, the internet didn't love you?
Oh, no, the internet found all the hate that it could muster, and it threw it straight at me. And it was a long, I'd say 3-4 weeks before we got our first, positive comment of someone going, oh, that's kind of cool. But we had a lot of people questioning the idea at the very beginning. And I don't know if you've seen the movie The Lorax, but there's a scene where the Onceler is trying to sell his invention that he made, and everyone's literally throwing rotten tomatoes at him while he's up on stage. And it very much felt like that scene in the movie where everyone's throwing rotten tomatoes at you, and then all of a sudden one person says, hey, wait, this is kind of cool, and it catches. And suddenly we now have a video that has 2 million views. We have 380-ish comments on it. Over 6,000 people have saved the video, which is a really good indicator for interest. And on our website, we have 500 people on the wait list, which it's a great feeling to go from pure negative feedback to all of a sudden everybody's very interested. It just took a couple people saying, hey, this is pretty cool. And all of a sudden everyone just caught on to that. And we've gotten to the point where people do still give negative feedback. Of course, it's the internet. You're always going to have your trolls. But we have random people fighting and supporting the idea in our comment section. I don't even have to go on and defend the idea anymore. Random people pick up the torch and support the idea, which is really cool because we don't have a product out yet. But people are already up in arms protecting the idea, which is pretty neat.
So when you talk about the internet trolls coming out, the keyboard warriors, so when you talk about the negativity, what in particular was the negativity about? Did they just say this was just a dumb idea, or did they nitpick it?
Yeah, so I mean, we had all varieties of negativity coming out, but there was a lot of nitpicking. A lot of people called it a baby gate, because I don't know if you've seen those expandable baby gates, but it is a similar structure to, I mean, it's a similar idea in that you want your baby gate to extend and, cover a large surface area, and then you want it to collapse in. So we had a lot of people calling it like baby gate board and things like that, which I honestly was pretty comedic. I thought that was pretty funny. But then we had a lot of people just saying like, this can't work. And I found that kind of amusing because they were commenting that on videos of it,
Working.
working.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know why you'd try to say something doesn't work when you're commenting on a video of it working. But then we also had people just in general saying, hey, this idea makes no sense. Like, why would you use this? And what I found very interesting is as I got started, people all along the way always told me, don't fight the trolls. Don't pick up that.
Oh, interesting.
Don't try to respond. Just let them roll off your back. But I didn't. I commented back and I talked to people, and over again, I successfully converted these trolls into actually finding interest in it, which I found very fulfilling as well, because taking someone who's just trying to bash your idea and then explaining to them in a calm manner, like, hey, this is why I did it that way. This is the purpose. Maybe you're not part of my target market, but I have a target market. There are people out there that want this. And successfully over and over again, I took these internet trolls and I turned them into, hey, wait a minute, this is actually kind of cool. Or, okay, I see your point. And sometimes, okay, I see your point is all you can get on the internet, but that's better than, pure hate. So.
Which is true. And I really believe in my heart of hearts when it comes to this kind of stuff, sometimes people just want to be heard.
Yeah. A lot of it is just for attention, and you can tell when they're just attention grabbing. But
now, was there ever any point in time where you got some of this hate online for your idea that you actually read it and thought, you know what, that's how we can make it better?
Oh, yes, for sure. It's been really cool. We're a little bit cart before the horse here, where we have a lot of people interested in the idea and we're not completely finished developing. I think
that's brilliant.
I say that now we are pretty much done developing at this point, but when the video first went viral, we were not done developing. And because of that, yeah, people would say something like, hey, I hate how this looks. And I'd be like, okay, let me fix it. And the next day I'd post a video like, hey, I changed how this looks. And they'd be like, whoa, you listen to me. A lot of times internet trolls are on there just trying to say things so they can be heard. They don't tend to know how to react when you do hear them. It's a pretty cool reaction to see. I actually tagged some people. They commented something nasty or gnarly on one of my posts, and then I tagged them in the next post and I say, hey, look, I changed it. I'm like, look, you gave me some feedback and I took it. And people found that really interesting, and they started reposting my stuff, and that's part of how we went viral is a lot of people started reposting things just because I called them out. I was like, hey,
yes,
if you have something negative to say, I'll respond with something positive.
Oh, absolutely. Love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about now so you're getting all this feedback online and you're making the product better as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about setting up the business side of it, because obviously at some point in time, the university can only carry you so far.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point and I know we'll talk about next steps here in a minute, but you got to have some kind of a business entity put together, whether you're thinking about either pursuing grants or if you're thinking about bringing investors on board or you're going to do some kind of Kickstarter campaign, whatever that might look like. Talk to us about setting up that business stuff.
Yeah, so this was the beautiful part of the grant that I got. The entire grant process, in order to actually get the money, you have to develop a rock-solid business plan. So we started with founding the LLC and the legal aspect of LLC formation. We've got our business insurance. That was stage one, and making a business model canvas. And then after we had our business model canvas prepared, the next step was getting the prototype ready and all that. Once we had the blueprints, which I actually submitted a patent application for that stage to show that we had a design ready, the next stage was getting our marketing plan ready. So I now have an 18-page marketing plan going over all the different channels of marketing that I'm going to be utilizing. That was the next stage. Once we got that done, we moved on to the next stage, which is the financial plan. And now I'm still on that stage, working through our financial models and preparing for all of the predictions that we can make and forecasting sales and whatnot. And the beautiful part of all this is I'm in a college of business, and there are professors who can help out every step of the way.
That's awesome.
So yeah, my marketing plan, I made this marketing plan with a marketing professor. We worked on it for, I think, 2 months, just going over it. We'd meet every few days. We'd meet after class, and I'd work on this marketing plan. And the same for the 2 stages before that. Jim, the engineer that I work with, he helped with the blueprints, obviously, and the patent application, getting that ready. The application itself was my patent attorney, but every step of the way, I've had support from the business department, and we now have a rock-solid business model and business plan fully prepared with the next 5 years forecasted.
So speaking of 5 years forecasted, what is next for Morphite Boards?
Yeah, so next step, we are currently in the middle of June, and we're looking at end of June, starting the next phase of our business operations. So right now we're in what we're considering the innovation phase. We're finalizing our designs. We're getting, dipping our toes in the water of the market, getting people interested, but still finalizing that design. On the 25th of June, we will be done with the design, and we'll be moving on to the production phase. That's when we'll start purchasing supplies. We're going to start getting tooling done. We're going to be doing injection molding. So if you don't know how injection molding works, you have these large steel casts that you pour the molten plastic into. Those are very, very expensive. So over the past couple months, I've been meeting with investors, angel investors mostly, and discussing the business and what plans I have and getting people interested. And we now have a couple investors who are interested. One in particular who I believe we will be going with at the end of the month to purchase those tools. And once that happens, we'll be moving on to the actual production, which, like I said before, should be in late August, I'm hoping. If not, maybe September.
So I know that I've seen it more than once online. You decided to bring in an angel investor. Mm-hmm. Why not do something like a Kickstarter and say, hey, you know what, for $400, you can have this collapsible board, and if we raise 50 grand, right, then we're going to start this or kick this off or whatever it is, because it sounds like there's enough interest that you could do that. So why go the angel investor and give up equity in the company versus doing something like a crowdfunding thing like Kickstarter?
Yeah, so 2 things to hit on here. First, with our angel investor, we're not looking to give up any equity. We're actually going to be looking for a non-equity deal here. So hopefully we'll come to a deal that no equity will be given up. The investors that I've talked to all agree on that, especially as a student entrepreneur. They want me to keep 100% of my ownership, which I'm very, very...
That's awesome.
Yeah, very thankful to have found investors who actually care about my success, and they're good people. But beyond that, the other part of your question... Sorry, actually, if you could repeat that part.
So the other part of the question is, why not do like a Kickstarter?
Oh, Kickstarter, yeah. So I chose not to do a Kickstarter just because it's more of a PR move in my thought. It's a public relation move where 99% of Kickstarters fail, and I just don't want to put myself into that bunch. I don't want to be one of those companies, even if we are the one that succeeds. I don't like the look of Kickstarter. It just kind of has a negative feel to it now. I know a lot of people, at least in my generation, don't really trust Kickstarter operations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not to hate on anyone who goes on Kickstarter and does that for a business startup. It's a legitimate way to start a business. It's just when you have a angel investor supporting your business, it shows a lot more validity, and angel investors do a lot of research. Kickstarter funding, they don't do a lot of research. They're just
whatever
like
video and whatever text they put up there. Yes.
Yeah, they think, hey, this is cool, I'm going to try to fund this. Whereas an angel investor does their research, and they make sure that the product is valid, that the business model is valid. So going with an angel investor just kind of proves that you're ready, and that your business has a little bit more legs to stand on.
And I can also imagine, too, that having an angel investor on board, because they are interested in getting their money back, that they would actually work very hard as well to open doors for you to get this into sporting goods stores or whatever that's out there.
Yeah, and a lot of the angels I've talked to are also very well connected in the production realm.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it's the networking that I've done over the past few months has just been incredible. I mean, I've gotten to talk to a lot of titans of Michigan's industry, which it's a really, really cool feeling to be in that room with so many important people and so many people who are such vital parts of the Michigan economy, and getting to work with them. And even some of the potential investors who aren't going to invest, they're still great contacts to have. And I'm going to be putting together a board of advisors, and a lot of the potential investors are going to end up being advisors now, just because they are fantastic business leaders and people who will be good mentors for me.
So then let me ask you this question here, just from a perspective standpoint. You go out to these angel investors, you actually have a working prototype to show them. And you say, oh, I did this at the, Scott L. Carmona School of Business. What was their reaction to that, knowing that you basically invented this for free?
There's a lot of jaws on the floor.
I bet there was.
I've done a lot of presentations for the school, kind of demonstrating like, hey, this is what can be done here at the school with this process. I'm one of the first people to actually develop a product here in the lab. And as far as I know, I'm the first business student to ever get a patent, we haven't received the patent, but first business student to apply for a patent while being a student here at the school. So I do a lot of presentations showing off like, hey, this new process is really, really cool, hands-on experience, actually doing things while a student. And at a lot of those presentations, I've met potential investors and also just business leaders. And yeah, like I said, lots of jaws on the floor. They see I pull it out of a backpack, and all of a sudden there's a longboard in front of them, and they think, wow, that was built here at the school, that was developed here. It's very, very cool. It's a lot different than, showing 3D models or even sketches.
On a computer screen.
It's a whole different, and then I can show them videos of me riding it around the parking lot, like you said. I mean, it's very different to be able to just show it working, because there's no question marks anymore. No one's like, hey, that sounds cool, but like, will it work? They see it. It works, which is really, really, really cool.
And from what I understand, just the fact that you've made it to this point also carries a lot of credibility with you as well, because you're actually showing up with a board that you developed, you've gotten feedback from a potentially your target market to make it like even better. This is before the angel investor even got on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The fact that we have a working prototype before having an angel investor on board is incredible, because normally you would need the money to make the prototype, and it is so hard to prove to someone that you have a valid idea before having the physical product. I mean, it's doable. People do it all the time, but it's a lot easier when you can just pull out the product and say, hey, look, here it is. Let's build more of these. It's very powerful.
Now, I got to ask this question here, because you are on the young side,
mm-hmm.
right? You're still in college.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever envision in a million years that you would be where you are today?
As egotistical as it might sound, this was my plan. Like I said, since fourth grade, I have known that I wanted to be an inventor. I knew that I'd want to apply for a patent. My goal was before 23. I'm currently 22. So I'm on track, which it feels really good to be able to say that. Don't mean it to be too egotistical, but I'm on track for my goals, which is really, really awesome feeling. And I wouldn't be if it weren't for the school. I mean, Saginaw Valley State University took me to where I wanted to be.
Right.
I'm pretty sure if I went to any other school, I probably wouldn't be here, just because we're a smaller school, but we have these opportunities like a big school, which gives you that one-on-one feel plus the big school opportunities, which I think is really special. And I genuinely don't think I could have gotten to this point without Saginaw Valley State University. But yeah, since fourth grade, I have a binder of ideas. It's like it's a 3-ring binder. It's probably like 4 inches thick now at this point, with just papers on papers of drawings. My dad always told me, if you have an idea, write it down and sign it. Put the date on it and sign it. So I've always done that since I was in elementary school. I've been coming up with ideas, and yeah, this was the plan. And here I am, 22 years old with a patent application, and still in college.
I think when I was 22, my biggest decision in life is, do I want to have McDonald's or Taco Bell for lunch?
Answer's always Taco Bell.
Answer's always Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody is listening to this and they want to check out what it is that you're doing, because I know you said you got videos of the board, whatever it is, what's the best way for them to connect with you and follow your adventure online?
Yeah, so if you want to see the process unfold in real time, best way to connect with us is on Instagram. We're very active on Instagram, also Facebook, but Facebook is basically just getting our runoff from Instagram. So if you if you want to see the true close-up action, it's on Instagram. We do have a website as well, www.morphiteboards.com. Pretty easy to find. You can also look up collapsible longboards, and we should be one of the top hits for that as well. But yeah, those are the two best places to find us, Instagram and our website. If you're interested in the boards, we do have a wait list on our website. You can sign up. All you do is drop your email. I will not be sending out any spam mail. It'll be one email when the boards go live. That's a promise. Absolutely no extra emails or marketing. It's going to be one email saying, hey, we're selling now. Come get a board.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Ryan, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Cliff.
And for our audience, you can always roll on over to totalmichigan.com, click on Ryan's interview, and get the links that he mentioned above. We'll see you next time when we talk to another ordinary Michigander doing some pretty extraordinary things. We'll see you then.